Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this natural makeup look. I decided to do this video because it's coming to summer now. Well, it is where I live anyway. If you're like watching in Australia, it's coming to winter, I think. But I'm in Britain and I know for sure that summer is definitely either here or on the edge of here. It's been sunny here for a few days, so it definitely feels like summer now, and it is May. Anyway, the weather's going to get hotter, and I like to wear subtle makeup when it's nice and hot because I feel a little bit cakey and I get extra sweaty when I'm wearing loads of makeup. So I associate subtle makeup and natural looks with summer, so that's why I've decided to do this makeup look today. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so here I am with my absolutely plain face, and the first thing I'm going to do is just tie my hair back so that it doesn't get in the way. So let's face it, hair can get quite annoying when you're doing your makeup and it's down. So yeah, let's clip back like that. I'm going to show you this little trick that I do with sellotape, and I basically just place a strip of sellotape under both eyes and on the bridge of my nose, and I do this to prevent any product fallout from going on my skin when I'm doing eyeshadow. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be using is my MAC paint pot to prime my eyelids, and I'm going to be using it in the colour Soft Ochre. Okay, so to apply my primer I'm going to be using my finger. I do this because I've tried to use a concealer brush before and it just ends up looking all streaky and not equal on both eyelids, and I just didn't get on with it. But I find that using my finger I get a much more softer, smooth appearance and it goes on a lot easier. But that's my personal preference. If you like using a concealer brush, obviously you can go ahead and use one. That's my primer done, and my eyelids should be the same colour and any discoloration should have gone. So the first palette I'm going to be using is my Revolution Flawless Matte palette. Just going to be using a white powder just to set my primer, and I'm going to be using this fluffy brush here. And I'm just going to put it on top of my primer, and I'm not doing it too heavy handed because I don't want to rub it off, so just really lightly brushing it on. I'm now going to start doing some colour on my eyelid, and I'm going to be using this colour called Muse from the same palette. I'm going to be using this fluffy blending brush. I'm just going to gently brush it just above my crease. I usually use this colour as a transition shade when I'm doing my makeup, and I really like the colour because it looks really natural, which is why I'm including it in this look today. I always have this problem where one eyelid always looks better or different to the other. It's so not fair. Okay, so as you can see, my eyelids are looking a little bit more vibrant now and they've came to life. And now I'm going to be using this colour called Warm. This time I'm going to be using a smaller fluffy brush. And the reason I'm using a smaller brush is because I'm focusing on a much smaller part of my eyelid. So if I used a bigger brush, it would just go absolutely everywhere. And as you can see, I'm just rubbing it on my base of the eyelid, focusing more on the outer corner of my eye. And this should just create a bit of a shadow and give your eyelids a little bit of depth. So to make sure that it's all well blended out, I'm just taking my blending brush again and just blending it all out together. Okay, so now I'm going to take this concealer brush and I'm just going to dab it into my MAC Paint Pot primer again. And I'm just going to place it in the inner corners of my eyes, running it along the first quarter of my eyelid. You'll see why I'm doing this in a second, because at the minute it looks so weird. I'm now going to just take my finger and rub it to blend it in. Now I'm going to take my Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I'm going to be using the brush that I got with the palette. And I'm going to be using this colour called Booty Call. I'm just going to place it on my primed bit of eyelid. This will make a gradient effect on my eyelid, starting from light to dark. And now I'm going to be using this colour called Verve, which is a very shimmery, silver palette. Do you know what? I can't get my words right. It's like a shimmery silver colour. And this will just highlight the corner of my eye as well. So that's my eyeshadow done so far. I've still not finished it yet, so I still need to perfect it. But it should be looking quite radiant, but still natural at the same time. I'm just going to take this wet wipe and neaten my eyeshadow up a little bit. Obviously this is optional. If you like how it looks, then you can totally miss this part out, but I feel like I need to neaten mine up a little bit. Now it's time to take those pesky sellotape strips off of my face really gently, minding not to rip my skin off. Right, so for my foundation I'm going to be using this Dream Satin Liquid in colour Ivory 10. It's from Maybelline, and I'm just going to use my fingers to apply the foundation. Now a lot of people can't believe I actually do this, because a lot of people use brushes nowadays, but again I just can't get the hang of brushes and I end up looking streaky, and I don't know whether it's anything to do with the heat on my hands, but I feel like my foundation melts a little bit and just blends in a lot better. So yeah, I'm using my hands for my foundation. I'm sorry guys if you're grossed out, but it's only like applying moisturiser to your face. And I did wash my hands before I did this, so don't worry. So now it's time for the most important step in makeup, and that is to make sure your foundation is blended into your neck, because as you can see my neck is a totally different colour to my face. So I'm just adding dots of foundation on my neck, quite a lot of dots as well. I'm going to be using this brush to blend it all in. I know I've just said I don't get on with brushes, but it seems to work on my neck for some reason. So I'm just blending it all around equally under my chin. And I'm also doing my collarbones because I'm wearing a top that exposes my shoulders, so I want to make sure that my neck is blended into my chest as well. So now I'm going to take another wet wipe and just wipe off any foundation that might have got caught in my eyebrows, because this makes my eyebrows look grey and we do not want that, do we? So I'm giving it a good wipe. I'm going to be using this flat eyeshadow brush, and there's two colours that I used on the base of my eyelids from the Revolution palette. I'm just going to run the colour under my waterline. I'm putting the darker colour towards the outer corner of my eye just to add its shadow again. I'm just taking the colour Verve from my Naked 2 palette again, just to re-highlight the corners of my eye. I'm now going to be taking this Essence Strobing Highlighter and a blusher brush, just to add a little bit of highlight on my cheekbones. Obviously not too much highlighter because we're trying to keep it natural. So just gently brushing it along. I'm also brushing it along my forehead as well, just to add a bit of a shine to that as well, because I have a big forehead. And adding a little bit on the tip of my nose. I'm now going to be using my Rimmel London Natural Bronzer in 021 Sunlight and using the sector brush to apply it. And I'm just doing it in an up and down motion just under my cheekbone where my highlighter is. I'm also just applying some on the top of my forehead, around the edges of my face. I'm now going to be taking this brush again and just applying it on the gaps where the sector brush doesn't necessarily apply it necessarily. Oh my god, I said that twice. Necessarily. So this is the side of my face and my chin, and these are just areas where the sun usually catches you. So a little bit on my nose as well and under my eyes. And with the blusher brush again, I'm just going to blend in my highlight and bronzer a little bit so that it's not so sharp, and to of course keep it natural. So now it's time to do my eyelashes, and I'm just going to take these eyelash curlers and curl my eyelashes. I was going to say eyelids then. I've said so many wrong things in this video, it's really annoying. So I'm just curling them from the root of my eyelashes so that they have more volume and curl. So for my mascara, I'm going to be using the Essence I Love Extreme Volume Mascara. This is my absolutely favourite mascara. I've been using it for years and I would never change it unless it was discontinued, which I hope it never will be. So because we're trying to keep it natural as well, I'm trying not to put too much on, because the last thing you want for a natural look is cakey eyelashes, so I'm only doing it really gently. So for my eyebrows, I'm going to be using this Essence Eyebrow Pencil in 02 Brown, and I'm just brushing all of my hairs in the direction I want them to. And I'm just going to start off by tracing the outline of what I want my eyebrows to look like. So once I've traced my eyebrows, I'm just taking a small angled brush and blending all of the pencil lines into my real hair so it just looks more natural. Once I've done that, I'm just going to fill in the rest of my eyebrows with the pencil again. To finish off, I'm going to be using the Sexy Mother Pucker lip gloss. This is just a very clear, shimmery lip gloss, because obviously we have to be careful with how much colour we have on our lips because it's supposed to be natural. And there you have it, natural makeup look finished. Watching me now, you've made it through all of the videos, so thank you very much for watching it. If you want to see any of my other videos, then click the links around my head and they will take you to another one. If you want to see any of my future videos, then give me a subscribe. And if you like the video or want to suggest any videos, then leave a comment down below and give me a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.